Hey guys, Nick here, and today we're getting into part 10 of What If Madison's family joined Rick. Now, we're going to get into the whole group going to Woodbury, and everything seeming way easier than it ever should have been, or should be. And we're going to figure out why that is, what might be coming, and the results that follow after, especially with Madison's family in tow. Let's get into it. But before that, since everyone's pretty much gotten accustomed to Woodbury, I'm going to talk about relationships, because it's a topic I often touch on. Rick and Lori are still in a relationship. Nothing really truly has come through with them being divided or anything like that. Daryl and Alicia's relationship, which I've touched upon and even hinted at the start of the series, kind of, has evolved to a very nice level. Nick and Ophelia, who were rumored to possibly have gotten into a relationship, bar the circumstances in the original Fear the Walking Dead, their relationship is holding strong too. Carol and Daniel, as I've touched before, have gotten into a relationship because after the whole Ed situation, Daniel just seemed like the kind of person that Carol could really feel with, if you guys get what I'm saying. Now, a lot of you teased this in my What If Sophia Joined Negan story. People were like, oh, Carl and Sophia, Carl and Sophia, Carl and Sophia. But I'm sorry. The circumstances in that story wouldn't have allowed me to actually get them into a relationship, especially with Enid. That would have created a story struggle. It would have just barred the story. But in this story, because of Sophia living and being around the group, now she can actually be in a relationship with Carl. So, there you go. Glenn and Maggie, their relationship I really don't have to talk about, because nothing really would change between the two of them, even with Madison's family. So, not really anything to talk about with them. And since Jimmy is still alive, he is still with Beth. And Beth would feel for him a lot more, especially with everything that's happened. I think it would take her a lot of time, but I think eventually their relationship would grow to a significant level too. And speaking of relationships, being at Woodbury and being around the governor, Andrea starts to have her old thing with the governor. And that does not please a very certain someone who I discussed has been and was in a relationship with Andrea, Shane. Now, many people like him, Daniel, and Daryl were already skeptical of the governor when they came in, and Michonne being the top one of them from what we know of her in the original story. And Shane, knowing this, tries to talk Andrea out of whatever dreamland she's living in to just come back. They're in a relationship. What the frick? And Andrea's like, you do realize that you weren't always the trustworthy of people either. You went all crazy at the CDC, and there are probably many of other things that he's hidden. And the way he's acted, he's no angel either. So, she thinks to give a governor a chance isn't a bad, decision. And for Shane to step up and tell Andrea who she can and can't be with, they found a town! The only reason they were together is because they had similar ideas, and Andrea just wanted to make Shane feel something that wasn't all just about Lori and this and that, even though that really didn't bring up too much because Shane never killed Otis. But Shane says that's different, and everything that happened then, he's not a bad guy. And it's like Andrea's not even giving him a chance. The minute she sees a new guy, it's like, boop, let's just go to him. And Andrea says that she ain't changing her mind. They found a town, she's found someone, and who said that's even a true relationship anyway? She's literally just talking to the guy and being around him. It doesn't constitute to an entire relationship. And she thinks that he's overreacting. And even if he is, who cares? She can make her own decisions. And Dale was the same way, not letting her make her own decisions. So Shane should just buzz off. Now at this point, Shane's about to lose his marbles because for the first time, since really whenever Madison's family first got introduced and Chris got killed, for the first time in this series, Shane's starting to lose it. But before he can, someone else steps up to the plate and offers his hand in talking to Andrea and talking her out of this. Maybe Dale. Because we all know how well Dale was with talking to people, keeping their morals, and this, that, and the other thing. But with Andrea, that was a tall order. But he's going to try it anyway. Make Shane happy at least, because he really hasn't done anything wrong. Dale goes to talk to Andrea and says that she doesn't have to do this to him. Shane might be a little bit rough sometimes, but that's okay. He hasn't done anything to make him a truly bad guy. And he thinks that Andrea should just go back to Shane and just, yes, obviously talk to the governor, but not like do what she's doing. It's not right. But Andrea says that Dale has no room to talk because she got her decision to kill herself at the CDC and Dale took that from her. And then took her gun, and it's like she doesn't feel that he can be trusted either. He might not be a bad guy, but he's still wrong for not letting Andrea make her own decisions. So if honestly, him and Shane should be best friends at this point because they both don't care about her feelings. And Dale, this really hits him hard. He's not angry like Shane's feeling. He's just upset. That kind of hurt his feelings. And at this point, seeing this and Dale not break down, but, feel hurt, Shane, he's losing it at this point. Season 2 and the Shane we all know and love from the original story is coming into the fold at last. Grabs his shotgun and makes his way to the governor's house to prove once and for all that something is about him and that he's going to get Andrea out of this little wonderland she's living in. He goes to the governor's house, almost no hesitation. Anyone tries to get in his way, he just pushes them aside. And Dale, he comes along because he's equally suspicious as to what the governor might be hiding. And I might feel like I'm just doing this from another story where Shane and Dale, figured out the governor's thing. But here it's under way different circumstances. Shane busts into the governor's house. The governor being very surprised at this because, for one, he wasn't expecting anybody. Maybe one of them, welcoming themselves into the community, but here comes this guy with a freaking shotgun aimed at him. Shane tells him to back away and let him through. And then he uses the butt of his shotgun to bust open every door that he can to show that this guy is not who he says he is. The governor's getting a little bit apprehensive about this because Shane just broke into his place. But before he can do or say anything, Shane breaks into the right door, or the wrong door, and finds a bunch of tanks filled with walker heads, and then deeper into the room, the governor's zombified daughter, Penny. And now, Shane knows for certain that this guy really wasn't who he said he was. Them getting in here, this was just an easy lure in for people. And for someone not to have discovered this would have been stupid. Now, once again, it seems like an easy way out. It seems like all of this led up to Shane being around and coming in and finding that. Seems like it was too easy. Does this mean that Shane will just ultimately kill the governor like in my What If Sophia Joined Negan story, and the governor will be no trouble at all? Or do you think that the circumstances that have arrived thus far will prove something way different might occur with our group? And that's where we're leaving things for the moment. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Little bit, I know that in a lot of my stories I kind of repeat the same formula, but if I ever do, or if I ever come around that field, I try to change it up to a different degree in which it was in the story that I use that formula. Like Shane and Dale going to the governor. It was different. And Sophia living, it was different. But I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.